Now basically when you start out, you're starting out with just some regular plain looking rocks. I mean, depending on what you want them to look like in the end. This is kind of like the second stage where you've run them through the coarse grit, and then eventually once you go through the fine and the polish, you'll come out with some nicely polished rocks. The reason I made this was my daughter was always bringing home rocks when we go camping and on trips, and we got a pile of rocks that basically just looked like plain rocks, and we wanted to shine them up. So I figured it was quite easy. I just had some junk laying around that I could make this out of for pretty much nothing. You can see here I've got a pulley from a washing machine, some rollers off of an old laminator, some bits of wood, a motor from a dryer, and an old belt from a car, and a few little bits of electronics or electrical bits that I had laying around. So first of all, I just started with a piece of old shelving, this piece of melamine shelving. It's 16 inches by 24 inches, and mounted the motor just onto another block onto the center of the plywood, or the melamine, and just made some little plywood sides, and installed just a house switch on the motor so that I can just start it up and stop it quite easily like that. It's just 3 wires, just the common, the power, and the ground. And you can go online to any sort of site, you just Google it, how to wire up one of these motors so that you don't have to use all the rest of the switches and everything off of the dryer. So basically, once I've got the sides on, I am going to be putting some bearings. I've just got these little bearings that actually came out of the suspension on my motor or my mountain bike. Just drilled some small holes, and I'm going to press them into the holes. And then the rollers just have the same size shaft. The bearings just go on the end, and that's what's going to make the rollers spin at the end. And the pulleys that I've got on here are off of a washing machine. So there's the one pulley on the engine, the pulley on the end of this roller with a bearing on each end, and it's basically just going to sit in here like this, and when the motor spins, it's going to spin the roller, and it'll spin the drum. So I'll put it together here just quickly, and then I'll give you a little idea of how it works and show you it running, okay? Okay, so here it is all put together, and just give you a little rundown of now how it's all together, how it works. Again, so basically we've just got the motor here that wasn't working properly, so we pulled it out. The first stage on the motor is gone, so I have to just sort of spin the wheel to get it going, but once it's going, it's fine for this application because you just leave it running for constantly. You're not turning it on and off. It's just got the pulley down there, runs the belt that goes to the other pulley here, and the 2 rollers with the bearings inserted on the sides. I've also put these bands on here to attach the 2 rollers together, so that I found that this roller, if I didn't do that, the roller on the far side would slip, and I didn't want it to wear through the rubber pads that are on this metal shaft that I have there. Don't particularly need this rubber on here, depending on what kind of barrel you're using. But I found that the rubber is nice, it makes it a little bit quieter, so it's not so noisy as it's turning. I also put these little bumps on here so it centers the straps so that they don't move around on the roller. And this other tape here is the little lump just to stop the barrels from rolling out to each end if it's not sitting level on the table. So basically, I'm just using a paint can. I got a plastic paint can here, and I just ground off where the handle goes on, so there's no lump there. And I find that this works really well. It seals up, it's easy to open, and because you got water and rocks in here when you're doing the turning. So basically it just sits on here like that, and get this rubber band in the right place. And then when you want to start it up, you just turn on the switch, and in this case I have to spin it to get it to go. And once it's going, it just sits there rolling like that. But that's basically how it works. Pretty easy to make. Didn't cost me anything. Just used a bunch of scrap parts that I had laying around. I'm actually making this one for my daughter, so we called it the Gem Magic, so that she thinks it's pretty amazing when the blocks go in there and they come out looking like gems. If you have any questions, please comment and subscribe to my channel, as I've got a lot of projects coming up. And you can see on the screen here as well some of my other projects that I've already made that you might be interested in. So check it out. Just turn the switch, and I gotta spin the wheel, and there it is.